Yes, ma'am. What's that? 231 for another council? 231? Yeah.
I did not realize when I started this, after working, I'd always worked in hotels and worked in the opposite places, what went on in Oklahoma City at night. And I met a lot of very strange people.
It's an interesting job in that one moment you might have a president of a corporation in your cab, and the next time you have someone that's intoxicated, and then everybody in between. You just never know who you're going to be picking up.
It's a lifestyle. You get spoiled. When I worked in an office, you know, you had to ask somebody's permission if you want a day off. Something like that. With this, you don't want to go to work, you don't have to, but you also don't make any money, so you have to be very self-disciplined.
Well, they have to drive normally 6 days a week. They normally drive about 12 hours a day. They spend a lot of time in the cab, and Oklahoma City's a very spread out city, so it's, you know, sometimes they have to go a fair distance to pick up their passengers. Right now we've got about 180 drivers. Well, a lot of the drivers like the freedom of it. I mean, we don't tell them when to go to work in the morning. We don't tell them how late they have to work. If they want to stop mid-morning, have a cup of coffee, they can do that. Or if they want to go spend time with their kids or grandkids when they get out of school, they can do that. They set their own hours. Some of them like working Saturdays. If it's a nice day out, they want to go fishing, they can do that. And then when it's inclement weather, you know, if they don't feel like driving in the inclement weather, they can choose to do so or not.
If we don't feel like they're going to be a safe ride, then they're not getting in my car. And I have more trouble with drunk women than I ever had with the men. Drunk women are horrible. Most of the time because they're mad at their husbands or boyfriends and they got left somewhere. And so they're in a bad mood when you get them in a car to begin with. And they get consistently worse. I only got robbed once. I was very fortunate. Thank God he was just messed up. He didn't know what he was doing.
There's not as much violence as there was, say, 25 or 30 years ago. There's an occasional incident, but drivers don't carry as much cash on them. They carry very little cash on them now because most people pay with debit cards and credit cards, whereas 30 years ago they did carry more cash at that time.
I don't know. It's a different kind of life. Back when I started, there wasn't about maybe 4 or 5 women doing it. And now, I don't know, Roger knows for sure, but there's probably 50 or 60. Women just found out there's money to be made. They take care of their kids, because you work when you want to. And I like to talk, and you kind of get a feel for people. If they don't want to talk to you, and they're staying hugging that door, kind of get to wondering, you know, you get an instinct. And I guess there's been a few times I thought maybe I would get robbed. Or like when they start fighting, I pull right up in front of 7-Eleven or the biggest, brightest gas station I can find and kick them out.
Well, occasionally we'll get a bank robber, you know, that perhaps has stashed a car down the way, and so they'll call a cab to take them to where their car is. And so sometimes, you know, we'll have the police and the FBI on one line, and we're trying to communicate with the driver without letting him know the passenger, if he's still with him, that, you know, the bank's been robbed or something like that. So those are some of the type of situations that occur.
That's another reason we don't just let you hail us and pick them up off the streets. We expect to be caught. It's because of the danger involved.
They have two choices. One, they can contact the police and let them handle it, or they can just decide to forget about it and move on to their next call. It doesn't happen a lot, but like I say, there's really only those two remedies for a situation like that.
Compared to what it was when I started, I think it's a lot safer now as long as the driver stays aware. Honey, I'm 59 years old. I'm hoping in the next 3 or 4 years I'm done. If I last that much longer, but I probably will. I'm not ready just to sit at home yet. Yeah, it gives you an independence that when you work for somebody else, you don't have. But you've got to have the self-discipline to do it. It's just like any other business. If you don't work at it, you're not going to make it. The type of people, like I said, I was shocked. I didn't know all this stuff went on in Oklahoma City at night. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. And I'm sure it's still going on.